Okay, good day, everyone. I'm here today with Deputy Mayor Lazo and our public health official, Kevin Sumner. We are in different times, to say the least, and we've come to you because we want to start to inform the public about what the situation is and where we've been, where we're going, and some information from Kevin's point of view with our current COVID-19 situation. Before I get into that, part of the discussion here and part of our agenda effective immediately is to build on our social media platforms. That will begin immediately with public access, the removing of the current information and providing our residents with as much information as possible regarding what's come out from CDC and state so that the public's informed. We will also have a scroll at the bottom whereby important information daily can be updated as much as possible. So we are going to push as much as possible to get the residents to partake in that. This information will also go out on press releases. It will go out to forums and whatnot, but the driver will be from the township, and that information will proceed from there. At this point, unfortunately, too, we have 2 residents with this virus. Our hearts go out to them because we want to make sure that they are healthy and recover as quickly as possible, but that's what we're dealing with. With respect to where we started with this, I'll just be brief and I'll read in terms of some dates so people have some background. On January 31st, the township issued an initial press release advising residents that the New Jersey Department of Health was issuing information regarding the COVID-19 virus. On February 14th, information was provided to residents regarding the Township Health Department's efforts to control this virus. On February 28th, I announced 2 residents that our health official, Kevin Sumner, had attended a meeting on the virus preparedness at the White House. We were at a briefing with the township and the school officials on March 2nd to be informed of that process. Beginning on March 9th through today, the township administrator and I have participated in daily conference calls with Somerset County freeholders, directors, administrators, and other Somerset County towns, state county officials to obtain and share information as much as we can with respect to what's going on here. On March 12th, under my direction and the approval of the Township Committee, we approved an order for all parks and fields for groups under 7 to make sure that we limited to the extent possible any type of exposure. I believe at that point, Mr. Lazo, correct me if I'm wrong, the feds were at 250.
Correct.
With respect to their groups. It's currently now, I believe, down to 50, but our Warren Township is no more than 7 people in terms of group activity.
And that was, again, since March 12th.
March 12th, thank you. March 16th, after much pondering and consideration, I thought it was prudent to move to an emergency action, which is an emergency declaration, and I coordinated that effort with our OAM coordinator, Jane Ash. Those specifics are available to anybody, but they will be also available on our public access, and we will put these things in the social media aspect context as well. So at this point, I'm going to pivot to Kevin Sumner, our health professional, and let him touch base a little bit on where we are currently. We may be having more meetings. We may be doing, well, we don't know, folks. We may be doing weekly meetings. We may be doing meetings 3 days or videos to that effect. But It's important that we communicate to our residents.
Mayor and Kevin, obviously we know our general public is home. Many of us are home now, and we're seeing the press conferences on a daily basis with the president. We're seeing that with Governor Cuomo, New York, Governor Murphy here. The mayor and I have discussed with our township administrator and staff that we should consider a process similar. Obviously, we will not be doing a daily briefing, but based on information that comes in and how things evolve, it's likely we will have a weekly or maybe every 10 day to bring the people up to speed as to what the town is doing. And again, with the social media aspect, right. I think we're going to touch a lot of people, and we're going to get into some more detail as to who you need to contact in the event that you have questions as to what we're discussing today.
Right. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Kevin.
Thanks, Mayor, Deputy Mayor. Obviously, as you can see from my phone ringing, sorry about that. But
That's
this
fine,
is
we
an
understand.
ongoing event. Normally, that's not on ring, but on vibrate, but because of the nature of things, that's the way it's been. I want to start first with, recognizing again, as I said here at the committee meeting a week ago or so, that this is still a very rapidly evolving situation, and that because of all the changes we're seeing, I think the anxiety levels and the concerns of the public are certainly high, and we understand that, right? I mean, these are challenging times, and we are doing everything we can to make them as reduce that challenge as much as possible. And so working, not just me with the elected officials, but all of us working together with the other departments, particularly the first responders, the emergency management, police, fire, EMS, and in my case also working very closely with our healthcare providers throughout my service area. So just recognizing that, as we see test results coming in and the increases in the number of testing, we would anticipate more positive results. That's just, what we would expect with an increase in testing, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we should become more and more concerned. We know that it's here, we know that it's going to be here for a while, and we're going to do what we can to address that. So some examples of those partnerships and activities. On March 2nd, we held a briefing with the first responders and our school officials to discuss next steps and what we were experiencing at the time. I tried to explain what we were seeing as going on in the community, and I think that helped to inform the schools on some of their planning and actions that occurred. Participating routinely with our emergency management, who also on a daily basis communicates with the county Office of Emergency Management, so that everybody in the county and all the municipalities are working together and hopefully in sync as much as possible to do that. I participate in a daily call with the State Health Department to get updates on guidance, which again is changing every day with regard to who should be confined or self-monitoring or isolated depending upon illness, updates on the lab tests that are coming in. So that's a daily update, and then weekly or as needed, but we have a weekly call scheduled and then communicate more frequently. In fact, the phone call that I received just now was from another health official in the county. So we're communicating on a routine basis as well. With the assistance of emergency management and Jay Nash's team, we've reached out to all the long-term care facilities and group homes in the town so that we understand what their needs are, and they understand that we're here to help them and provide whatever resources we can, that we can access to help them get through these challenges. So there's a lot going on. A lot of it goes on in the background, but I think, for me, the most important things are the key messages that I've been saying all along and that is wash your hands. Continue to wash your hands, clean frequently touched surfaces so that we're cleaning that. This virus is understood to be fairly fragile, so routine cleaning and regular cleaning and washing your hands is a good way to protect ourselves from that. Cover your mouth and nose when you're coughing and sneezing. Use your sleeve, or better yet, a tissue. Throw it away, and then wash your hands after that. Avoid touching your eyes, mouth, and nose, and practice those social distancing messages. Keeping away from people. Not that we're exhibiting that very well here right now for the purposes of the video, but 6 feet away, reducing time of contact to 10 minutes or less, because that's how we define close contact. 10 minutes or more within 6 feet. If we can be less than 10 minutes and greater than 6 feet, then the risks of to the general public remain fairly low. And then really, most importantly, I think at least right now, because I'm hearing a lot from the community and outside of the community that people are still going out and doing things and going to work when they're sick. If you're sick, stay home. Don't expose other people. You may feel okay and able to function, but you're really putting our vulnerable populations at great risk, and we want to protect them as much as we can. So if you're sick, stay home. Avoid sick people as much as possible, and wash your hands.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin. Very, very good information. We appreciate it, and we're glad you are part of the team. Deputy Mayor.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Kevin, it's a pleasure to work with you. I've been on the Board of Health with you for a decade now, and to have your resources and your skill set with us is appreciated. The mayor and I are going to discuss what's happening, shift a bit away from the health perspective from what Kevin has just discussed, and touch on what's happening within the town as it relates to COVID-19. A couple of highlights: the Somerset County Library will remain closed until at least April 5th. Again, this is all fluid. This can change, but as now it's April 5. Mayor referenced earlier that the township has suspended the parks and trails. We've also suspended our park and ride program until further notice. Obviously, with those that are asked to work from home and encouraged to work from home, that is a program that is seeing no ridership at this point, so we will be suspending that. And that, again, will be until further notice. Residents are encouraged to utilize the option of food delivery and takeout at our many restaurants. I wanted to touch on this because I know that some folks are concerned with the crowds at either grocery stores or Costco. We've seen a bunch of that on the media. Please remember that our restaurants, and we have many in town, are all prepared to serve us with takeout and delivery. I'd encourage everybody to take advantage of that. You're not going to have the crowds that you have at the grocery store, and quite frankly, we want them in business when this ends and we return to normalcy.
Yes, if I can, just real quickly, Deputy Mayor. I was aware of an incident that happened at one of our stores where an older gentleman was in early in the morning and got visibly upset because he couldn't find something. So we're making all our efforts at OEM to make sure that we reach out to those people, but there are still people that may not have computers or may not be paying attention to this. So we need to redouble our efforts, especially with groceries and pharmaceuticals to the extent possible. And I'm going to meet Mr. Lazo, if you would accompany me. We're going to leave here after this meeting and visit all of these shopping locations, primarily food and pharmaceutical, to make sure that those ownership, the folks that own these and run them, can perhaps provide a list, or if they see somebody in need, to jot a name down. We'll leave our cards, but we want to hear from them. We want to make sure that we're covering everybody in Warren. That's really critical. And to the Deputy Mayor's point about restaurants and food, we need to do all we can to support local business. As I've stated to county officials on one of our calls with Mr. Crane, you know, this is a two-part thing now. We have to deal with the virus. We also have to deal with our local economy. And for those that aren't thinking about that, it would be well suited to start thinking about that here in Warren. And we will do everything we can to support not only the residents, but our local businesses. So that's a work in progress, and we'll adjust as needed.
Yes, Mayor, I appreciate those comments. And I don't want to be conflicting in the information that you're receiving now, but obviously the residents were reminded by the governor you know, to not travel between the hours of 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. I want to touch, because we just discussed the restaurants. Initially, the restaurants were to remain open through 8 p.m. That has been extended now. We realize that there are those folks that that perhaps need meals beyond 8 p.m. Again, this is only for pickup and delivery. In addition to that, our Warren businesses that are seeking assistance with the loans, with any loans that they may need to stay afloat. And of course, they are available through the U.S. Small Business Administration. Applications can be submitted through September 18th for those businesses that are watching. And a fact sheet is available on the Warren Township website on the coronavirus page. So again, we want to support our businesses. We want them there when we return to a normal pace.
Right.
But for those that do need help, please see our website for that. And again, Kevin touched on this earlier. Through the effort of our OEM coordinator, Jane Ash, Acme and Kings have established special hours for our senior citizens and people can consider to be part of that vulnerable population. Acme, those hours are 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., and Kings is 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. So again, designated times. Mayor, of course, we will visit with the pharmacies and the supermarkets and some of our restaurants to just confirm all this.
Thank you, George. As we'll read on to some other happenings here, which have just been updated and changed. And again, all this will be available on social media as we continue to build out that platform in earnest. The following procedures will be in effect for Warren Township offices. As of Tuesday, March 17th, all municipal offices have been closed to the public. Members of the public seeking to do business with township departments should contact departments via phone or email. Drop box is located in the vestibule of the township entrance for residents to drop off payments, permits, applications, and other pertinent documents. Residents requiring personal assistance should contact the department directly. Contact information for each department is located on the Warren Township website at warrennj.org under Resources Township Directory. Citizens requiring assistance with Warren Police Department for non-emergency matters should contact the Police Department at 908-753-1000 for proper guidance. Citizens with non-emergency matters will not have access to the Police Department for obvious reasons. So I yield back to you, Mr. Lazo.
Yes. To continue, all municipal court sessions, they are canceled between the period of course, March 16th and March 27th. Citizens requiring the services of the Warren Municipal Court should contact the number that's on our website. The municipal court payments may be paid online through either newjerseycourts.gov or through the Warren Township website. Residents should utilize the online services available through the township website to pay their taxes, their sewer bill, for permit applications to the extent as possible. So again, taxes, sewer bill, permit applications, those are available online. Per the guidance of New Jersey Division of Fire Inspections by the Fire Marshal's Office, that'll be suspended except for the threat of life safety. For questions regarding fire permit applications, again, you can contact our Fire Marshal Office, which is, of course, that information is on our website. Construction code inspections for those that are having repairs or renovations done to their houses or businesses. By our construction department will continue until further notice. We know that those projects have to continue for many reasons. So that will continue. We can contact the Warren Construction Code Office again with numbers that are online. Inspectors will be in contact with the applicant prior to conducting the inspection. Inspections may be curtailed as health conditions warrant. Of course, we're in daily communications with Kevin on those possibilities.
Okay,
Mayor?
Deputy Mayor, thank you. Kevin, please.
Yeah, since you referred somewhat to that, and you spoke earlier about the parks and the restrictions on the parks. Beside my standard messages, two more things came to mind. I would say we would want to encourage people to, in their small groups, family networks, avoiding the large 7 groups or more, but go out and walk around the block.
Yep.
Wave to your neighbor as long as you're maintaining that 6 foot distance. But just because we're putting these recommendations and restrictions in place doesn't mean people can't still go outside and get some fresh air, especially now that spring is here, and even walk around the park or something of that nature. So that's one thing that came to
Kevin,
mind.
if I may jump on that very quickly before you get to your next point. That's a very good point. Proud of the mayor and the decisions that we made days ago in regards to the parks and the playing fields. And I want to shout out to the leaders and the volunteers of the sports leagues and recreation leagues in town. As if those are not aware, those that are watching today are not aware, those are private organizations. They're not managed by the township, but we work in concert with them. And that leadership, or those leaders of those organizations, were wonderful to work with. They have suspended their leagues for the time being, and again, that is a fluid situation as well. We encourage them not to schedule practices in this absence. Of course, nothing more than 7 people, as you stated, Kevin. But we do want to reiterate, the parks are open, the fields are open. Get out with your families. Just keep it under 7.
And the second thing I just want to encourage people is to access information from reliable and credible sources. There's a lot of rumor floating around now. I anticipate that'll continue, if not increase. We want to make sure people are getting the appropriate and accurate information
Right.
from sources like the CDC, the State Health Department, our website.
Right.
You know, accessing good, credible information is really important to make sure we're doing the right things.
Yes, terrific. Kevin, thank you.
Also.
Deputy Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
In closing, too, as both of my colleagues here have pointed out, this is an unprecedented time that we're all dealing with. And I've stated in our township committee meeting, this is certainly not a time to panic. We're not going to panic. We're going to be prepared. We're going to listen to the professionals. We are going to build out our social networking capability. And we do want individuals out walking. I've seen more people walking lately, even just on my road or other roads, which is great. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of your family being at home together. Do things perhaps you weren't doing before. Spring cleaning, I hate to say it. I've already started doing a little bit, but it's not my thing. So, at the end of the day, folks, be healthy, be safe. Listen to the advice of, Kevin, and we'll continue to inform all of you to the best of our ability. We're going to continue this process. We may have more of these videos, but we're here for you, and the township committee, as well as the township itself, is working hard on your behalf. Thank you, and be safe.